if you want to get control of the Leviathan, you get control of the cash. Remember in Watergate? Follow the money. Follow the money.
Elon Musk and Steve Bannon are feuding again over new revelations from the Epstein files. The two have represented MAGA in their own ways over the years, sometimes on the same side of MAGA, and at other times in opposition to one another while still supporting the Trump administration. Both have framed themselves as populist, both have had advisory roles within the Trump administration, and both have documented links to Jeffrey Epstein. Now, to be fair, Steve Bannon has many more links to Jeffrey Epstein than Elon, at least as far as we can see, and they seem to be far more nefarious. Bannon's links to Epstein go beyond whatever was going on that island and is firmly planted in the world of American and international politics and even socio-political engineering. With the latest Epstein file drop, so much information has come out so quickly that it's hard to keep track of everything. Thankfully, some hero journalists and street journalists have really been doing the work, piecing the puzzle together and helping us to make sense of what it is we're really seeing. Of the revelations that have come out, we now know that Epstein was far more involved with Israel than we even suspected, which is already saying something. We know that what we thought was the worst the files would have to offer was indeed not the worst. And we know that so many people involved at various levels of government and society, entertainment, academia, and more were involved with Epstein in some capacity. Whether or not they partook in the more salacious aspects of what Epstein had to offer is something that we really should be investigating. But that aside, it seems clear now that even those who attempted to separate themselves from the sexual abuse and misconduct knew about it, failed to report it, and continued to associate with Epstein. As an investor, Epstein was so deeply involved in, for example, the tech industry, that young Silicon Valley entrepreneurs chasing their own billions and their own legacies felt that they had no choice but to take money from people like Peter Thiel and Jeffrey Epstein. In some such circles, he was even referred to as Voldemort, or he who must not be named. And within the tech industry, there is the gaming industry, and Epstein was a known gamer. His accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, was known to frequent Reddit, where she was able to engage with users anonymously, and Steve Bannon, who we are learning was far closer to Epstein than we had previously believed or known, was involved in money laundering for Epstein through the gaming ecosystem, specifically through World of Warcraft, or WoW, allegedly. And I know that I have this World of Warcraft microphone, but I am not a gamer and I've never played WoW. This microphone was gifted to me as sort of an inside joke, so I'm not personally speaking with any kind of insider gamer knowledge. My husband is something of a gamer and he used to try to get me to play, but I'm so bad at it that he stopped trying. This Bannon WoW controversy has been known, though, for some time in smaller circles, but Elon Musk is now bringing it to everyone's attention. He posted to X last week, Bannon was laundering money for evil people. He posted this in response to another post alleging that Epstein used World of Warcraft gold to move money without getting traced. Back in 2007, Bannon was coincidentally running a Chinese company that sold in-game gold for real cash. After a few trades, good luck tracking where the money came from. While this information again is not confirmed, I mentioned that it isn't the first time it's entered the conversation. Back in 2018, during the first Trump administration, Drifter, a YouTuber and a gamer, he did a deep dive into the Bannon connection to the gaming world in a video titled World of Warcraft Made Trump President, Actual True History. He gives a lot of background information, so if you're not a gamer or if you're not familiar with that world, you're still able to follow along with the story. For instance, we're all probably familiar by now with in-app or in-game purchases, but back in the day, they weren't as prolific as they are today. Back then, if gamers wanted to get gold within the game, they had to earn it, which took a lot of time and a lot of effort. Sometimes people didn't want to put all of that time into getting gold, so apart from just paying someone else to play for them, something that Elon Musk also allegedly knows a lot about, people wanted to just purchase gold with real money, real currency, and that is what is being referred to in these tweets. In Drifter's video, he explains further that, at least in part due to this scheme, Bannon was able to facilitate Trump's ascension to the presidency. The short version is that there was a company, Internet Gaming Entertainment, or IGE, that sold gold for these games early on, back in the 90s during the dot-com boom. By the mid-2000s, they were trying to grow and expand, so they started seeking outside investors. Enter Steve Bannon. Bannon was hired as a consultant for the company, and within a year or so, Bannon had convinced Goldman Sachs to invest in IGE. The investment paid off, but Bannon continued to work with IGE closely, particularly studying the company's target market, the gamers. So he helped expand IGE's operations, and to do so, he allegedly employed Asian workers, maybe even prison workers, to mine the digital gold. Super tedious, click, click, click work that they were allegedly paid very little to do. And that's what's being referred to in those tweets I showed you earlier. Anyway, the company eventually went bust, but Bannon now had deep insights into a very specific demographic. These gamers, he noticed, were generally kind of angry, worked up, dissatisfied with various aspects of life. Think about your typical Redditor maybe, but they weren't particularly political. The genius of Steve Bannon, if you want to call it that, was that he was able to channel and redirect that very specific gamer energy into a right-wing political pipeline. And so when Bannon took over Breitbart, he knew exactly who his target market was going to be. He hired Milo Yiannopoulos to help attract white male gamers to Breitbart, where they would then be exposed to right-wing ideologies that would appeal to them. And through these efforts, he was able to essentially radicalize and, more importantly, to politicize a group of people who were already radical in the ways that Bannon needed them to be. This group would form the core base of Trump supporters leading up to the 2016 presidential election, and from there, the rest is kind of history. Now, these Epstein files are no fun for anyone, but at the very least, they're opening our eyes to so many different aspects of society, government, and the general world order. We need investigations, we need prosecutions, and we need justice. But in the meantime, these files have already proven to be incredibly valuable to a public that is eager to just understand the powers that are constantly controlling and, yes, manipulating our lives. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks.